Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody, I am so super excited that you could join me for another afternoon on the show Health Talks. And today I have an amazing guest who actually happens to be a very good friend of mine. And her name is Kathrine Lee. Can you just wave to them really quick, Kathrine?
Hey, everybody.
I'm going to actually let her say a couple things, obviously, but I want to just tell those who are new and may not have ever heard of her a little bit about her. So, she is a life coach, business strategist, and social justice advocate. In addition, Kathrine is the creator of a faith based personal development system called The Ultimate Source. And she's founder of the nonprofit Pure Hope Foundation, which I know she's going to mention later on, so you guys can find out what that is. She's the author of this book here that I have in my hands, Interrupted. You got to get your hands on that. Interrupted, the joy and mystery of a God-directed life. And she has guided countless of individuals to discover their unique design for their own lives. So you may recognize her, for those who do, from her appearances on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And one of the things that she says has been her most important and fulfilling role in life is being the wife to her fantastic husband, who I had a chance to meet, Michael, and a mother to her three fabulous children, Corinne, Logan, and Hannah. So if you guys are watching, I know mommy's going to shout you out, but I'll let Kathrine go ahead and say a couple words to my audience really quick, and to your family. Shout them out.
Oh, well, I'm so honored to be here. And thank you for pronouncing my daughter Corinne's name right.
Oh, yay.
You did, I mean, so many people, it doesn't matter how many times they've heard it or said it, when they read it, they say it incorrectly. So I know Corinne appreciates that. And thank you. It's an honor to be here with you and all of you that are listening.
I love it. I love it. And shout out to everybody in the Lee family. Hi. Well, I'm going to say this because I say this every time. When you come to this page, you are going to hear about three things. You're going to hear about God, number one. You're definitely going to hear something about family. And you're definitely going to hear about health. Those are the three things that I am so passionate about. And I feel like no matter what I'm doing, what platform that I'm on, is going to come out. It's going to spew out of me. And so I'm so excited to have Kathrine here today. And I'm just going to jump right into this interview. So the first question that I have is, why did you begin your health journey, Kathrine?
It's such a great question. And I love the word journey, first of all, because I don't know about any of you, but I always say, there's a whole spectrum, right? That my joke is there's the heathen to the vegan, and I'm a vegan until noon. And then you might find me anywhere on the spectrum. So it's a definite journey. Sometimes I like to call it a dance, the cha-cha-cha, right? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But the great news is that if you will engage in the journey, you're going to see results. And so I started on my health journey, gosh, it's been 25 years ago now, 26, when one of my friends died tragically. I got a knock on my door, and there was one of my best friends standing at the door sobbing and sharing with me the words, "Kelly and the baby died last night." And what she was telling me is that my 31-year-old friend, who was 9 months pregnant, had an aortic aneurysm. And we lost her and her baby. And that was a day that changed my life forever. You mentioned God, family, right, and health. Well, It kind of went in that order from that moment on. I got on my knees and cried out to a God I didn't even believe in at the time. Honestly, I challenged God. I went, "What do you want me to do with this?" And I thought, if you're real, if you're the God I believed in as a child that I turned really far away from until that moment, if you're real, I'm asking you to prove it. And I remembered, seek and you will find. I remembered that, right? Because God's word does not go out void. It stays with us. And as a child, I had heard that. And I thought, okay, I will seek, right? I'll play some hide and seek with you, but please make yourself obvious. And I love to say God's been a show off ever since. And so I first surrendered to God in that moment. The second thing was I wanted to get healthy for my family because it was Kelly's day to go home to heaven. But it was my day to begin to live. Wow. And hopefully to turn the pain into purpose, to put legacy to her life, and to never forget she and Sydney. And I made that decision to be able to do that on behalf of me and my family and on behalf of her and her family. And then third was, okay, I got to get healthy, whatever that looks like for my DNA, whatever that looks like for me, so that I can live out this purpose. And that's where the journey began for me.
Wow. That just brings up a lot of emotions for me, because I know you know this because I've shared this with you before, but I lost 2 children. Mm-hmm. So, and I think a lot of people, their pain sometimes drives them, I'm going to say drives them into some journey. Hopefully it's a healthy one, like how yours was, and other people, it could drive them into other things. Yeah. So I'm glad that you did shout out to God and he did prove himself or show himself to you. That's really amazing. So was there, like when you were growing up, was there someone in your life that had an influence in your health journey during your childhood years?
You know what, honestly, we tend to surround ourselves with the same people. So our family was kind of unhealthy. So we hung out with families that were unhealthy. So to be honest, I did not have a mentor in my life. I didn't know what it looked like. People used to say to me as I began my health journey, well, didn't you know? And I was like, no, I didn't know. Mm-hmm. I didn't know the value of fruits and vegetables. I didn't know the values of healthy fat. I didn't know the value. I mean, you hear the shoulds, but everything I heard was about diets, and diets about killed me. I mean, it created eating disorders and challenges, and it was all based on body image and what the world expects to see, or what that boyfriend wanted to have, or what I wanted in the mirror that was totally unrealistic for my body type and my DNA. And so I did not have a health mentor until I surrendered to God. And I believe he's the greatest health mentor. I mean, we can read Proverbs, we can read Genesis, what did he originally design us to eat? But also he brought a community of amazing like-minded people into my life. I literally started asking people, dietitians and nutritionists, right? Acupuncturists and medical doctors. I went to both ends of the spectrum in medicine to seek out, what did it take to be healthy? Wow. What did it take? And so I became my own adventure seeker, is what I like to call it, because it is an adventure. It's new. Right. It's hard when you're first starting to do new things. But I decided to look at it as an adventure, not a diet, and a journey instead of a destination. And that's the way I've looked at it since. And as I did that, my community of health mentors formed.
Wow. I think that's fun too, when you look at it from that perspective, because all the other perspectives is very like beating you upside the head type of things. And it's definitely been more fun to focus in that manner. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about your program, The Ultimate Source. You talk about 2 things I definitely would love for you to expound on as far as it relates to one's health journey. You talked about negative self-talk and toxic people. I think those are like 2 top things.
Yeah. Because they make such a huge impact on our health. So first of all, I just want to give a quick shout out to my website, only kathrinely.com. So just put my name together there. Notice the difference of the spelling, but kathrinely.com, because there's a free video that really, for the time we're in, at the time that we're airing live, and that you may be watching this on a recording, maybe that it's passed by the time you see it, but we're in a real different season of life through quarantine. And so the key right now, I did a video on what's happening in our brains, what's going on, like why are we having so many negative thoughts? Why are people toxic in our life? And that can really have a powerful impact on our health. So let me talk first about our own toxic thoughts, because just like food, right? There's foods that builds up and food that tears down, right? There's food that is for our benefit and food that is for our pleasure, but sometimes the pleasure food isn't always of benefit, right? So hopefully you can find a whole lot of pleasure and benefit foods, like things you love and they're good for you. But sometimes we have a little bit of pleasure food, and we know it's a tear down food, but in moderation, we just enjoy it and we can embrace it. God gave us taste buds for a reason, and we can enjoy that. But here's the interesting thing about thoughts. There's build up and tear down thoughts, right? And there are thoughts that we may get pleasure from entertaining, right? The negative thoughts that we just ruminate over. We can do this with unforgiveness. We can do this with our negativity because we're used to it. I don't know how many of you have ever seen the movie Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that character Gollum, for those of you that haven't seen it, they're all looking for this ring, and Gollum gets obsessed with this ring, and he looks at it and he calls it precious.
Right.
He's looking at it and he's obsessing over it, and he's getting uglier and uglier by the moment. He literally starts to lose his hair and squinch over because he's obsessed with this. Well, we do that sometimes with our negative thinking.
Right.
We obsess and ruminate over it. And I don't have time to go into all the science, but if you go on kathrinelee.com or you subscribe to the Ultimate Source, which we have at really reduced rate right now because we want to provide it for everyone during this time. So we brought the price down just tremendously. But the key with thoughts are they're literal things. They create formations in our mind. And so they can contaminate the mind. I want you to think about, we're really aware of cross-contamination right now, right? That if I touch this, and there are germs on my hand, if I go over here, I'm going to touch that, and now that's contaminated. Right. Well, the same is with thoughts. We can have positive thoughts and think, now I'm not talking realist. Realist thoughts are okay, to acknowledge pain, to acknowledge negativity. That's okay. Acknowledgement is okay, but it's the ruminating. It's the taking it and staying in the past or bringing that negativity into the future that creates this toxicity, and it cross-contaminates. It wipes out our positive thoughts. I mean, try to think a positive thought and a negative thought at the same time. You can't. The negative comes in and cross-contaminates our positive. So that's why in Philippians 4:8, it says, whatever is good and lovely and noteworthy, whatever is of good report.
Yeah.
Right? Think on these things, because it literally affects your immune system. We're not just talking that it affects your mood. It affects your immune system, the way we think. So that's toxic thoughts. Any thoughts on that from you? And then I'll talk about toxic people.
Yeah, I think that's something for us to consider, because this naturopath that I love him. He's in our area, Dr. Paul, if he's watching, hi. He says that the order of your health is spirit, mind, body. And he said that's your pie: spirit, mind, body. And he said most people, they'll get the healthy eating part down, but they'll totally neglect the mindset or the spirit piece.
Right.
You've met people, no shade, but it may not always go all the way up.
Yeah.
And some of that's chemical. Sometimes. And I'm not talking about because you have a disorder. I mean, it really is, because it's based on what you're eating and the things you're thinking and the things you're taking in, like she was saying. And then you have people who, what do you say? They're very spiritual, but no earthly good. So you have to have the balance.
Yes.
Not one or the other. I think in our society, we're so quick to pick, I like this over that. But what God calls for is a total balance of a lot of things that work together for our good, if we actually choose to get our spirit in line, get our mind in line, and get our body in line.
Yeah.
So it goes definitely with what you're talking about with the thoughts. But I think what the main thing I got out of what you said that I'm hoping people really grab is that before you put anything in your mouth, it starts with that thought. What is your thought process in that day? Or even way before that, what did God say to me?
Yeah.
Choose life,
Absolutely. And our mind, it's the same. What am I putting into my mind? Just like what do you put into your mouth? What am I putting in my mind?
Right.
And is that cross-contaminating? Is that a build-up thought or a build-up show or a build-up book or a build-up conversation? And that leads us, of course, to toxic people, right? And when I say toxic people, what I mean is there are toxic topics with some people. You know what I'm talking about? Like sometimes you can talk all sorts of things with somebody and it's all good and it's positive and it's build up, but that one topic comes up and bam, it takes it down.
Right.
You're you're going into the gutter. So I always say in your brain, just like our thoughts, we create groovy thinking, right? Literal positive grooves in the mind that spit out positive brain chemistry and take us in a positive direction. But we also have gutter thinking that create negative brain chemistry and take us down to a sewer place where we don't want to go. So there's people that do that too. So I want you to pay attention to who are the people that build up your life. Are the conversations you're having build up or tear down? Now, if you have a toxic topic, you may want to just agree to disagree and say, let's not talk about that particular topic. Let's talk about all these other things we have in common, right? That we agree on. Now, sometimes if we'll open our hearts and our minds, we can have a curiosity conversation with somebody that's different than us. That's how our nonprofit Pure Hope Foundation was formed. How I found out what it was for was somebody that I never would have talked to probably. But when he shared with me what he did, instead of being offended or to push back or defensive or try to convince him otherwise, I just got curious. And that led to both of us, I believe, a life-changing moment. So again, people, are there toxic people in general in the world? Is there some evil out there? Trust me, I work in the realm of trafficking. That's what Pure Hope Foundation is about, strengthening families.
Right.
But it's also about restoring those that have been victimized by trafficking. So as your family gets stronger and we can guard you against those types of things in the world, we know that the stronger you are, that you can help those that have been marginalized or in crisis. So we have both pillars. So I know that there's some evil, right, that perpetuates out there.
Yeah.
But I'm talking the everyday person that we can have some real guards to say. I mean, everybody that knows me knows two things. Number one, I'm not going to gossip with you because I will not put down my sisters.
Right.
I'm not going to talk about other women negatively. Now, can I give wise counsel? Can we talk about that you're having a challenge or a problem? But you better come to me if you're doing that, and better be ready for me to say to you, well, what's your part? You know, how are you going to love her? How are you going to forgive her?
Yes.
You know, I might say that really stinks. I'm so sorry. That must hurt that she said that about you or did that. But I'm immediately go into what's your role and responsibility, and how can you love? How can you forgive? And how can you maybe put boundaries? Right. But we're going to do that. So that's one. Two is I'm not going to talk bad about men with you. I'm not going to put down men. You know, I'm going to build up. A part of Pure Hope Foundation is about raising up the heroes' hearts of men.
Love it.
Yeah, that's right. And uniting the voices of women again, that women, if we would stop comparing and competing and start completing the work that only the united voices of women can do together, we will change the world. So we've got to lift each other up. And yes, we can navigate real challenges that exist for all of us. But if we do it with curiosity and with unity and love in mind, we can really conquer anything together.
Definitely. And if you're on her website, if you're scrolling around, like I'm a multitasker, I watch and scroll. Yeah, I do.
I love it.
You just might be out there searching on her website. My husband has one of those shirts for the men, and it's like is a helmet or something like on it. Yeah, check that shirt out, all you guys. It's an awesome shirt. My husband is always about like being the protector type thing. So definitely patronize that. It goes to an amazing cause, the Pure Hope Foundation. Go read about it, you know.
Yeah, and check out purehopefoundation.com. That's where our apparel is. So if you go to purehopefoundation.com that's our nonprofit arm. So if you go there, you will see our apparel, and we have it for men and women, because we do want to raise up the heroes' hearts of men, and we want women to rise up, take courage, and do it. That's one of our t-shirts for women, because we can together rise up, and together we can be courageous, and we can do what we're called to do together.
Yes. And don't wait, because just because you didn't personally have that experience, I'm telling you, like, and I hope that never happens to any of your families, but when it shows up at your door, that's a whole different conversation. So my take is be a part of the solution now.
Yeah. So and here's the thing, anybody in your life, because pornography fuels the demand for trafficking. And unfortunately, that's a dark topic. I know we went off in a whole different direction. Okay. We got to take care of our mental health, our sexual health, all of those things. And so, you know, it's closer to our door than we think. Not to scare anybody, because we're all about solutions. We're called Pure Hope Foundation for a reason.
Oh, they like it.
More light than darkness, right? Yeah, that's right. We want to bring more light than darkness, but we just have to live in reality. Like I said earlier, I'm a realist optimist, right? I'll be real there. I get it. I get it's hard to be healthy sometimes. I get that there are dark issues or there's a draw for this or that. But the bottom line is that we've got to be optimistic that we can conquer these things, because again, it begins with God. Through God, we can do all things. Yeah. And then I love what your naturopath said. Then our minds are thinking, right? So it's with God's strength. And then we think we can conquer these things and we make decisions. And are we going to be perfect? No. Let's really get that clear, because there's only one perfect one, and it is not me and it is not you. So, but we can be in progress all the time.
Yes, no one is perfect. I can definitely agree with that. You guys see that? No one is perfect. Make a bookmark, write it down. It's about progress.
Yeah, absolutely. Progress, not perfection. That's what we're going for.
Definitely. So go to the website, you guys. I'm telling you, it's some amazing resources. I always tell you guys, I don't have people on this show because I'm bored. It's to provide amazing resources to you guys. Is to expose you to people that maybe you've never seen before, and topics that you can delve into further for your own health journey. And everything, ties into health. What does it say in the Bible? Beloved above all things, I wish that your soul prosper and that you be in good health. So all those things work together: your souls, your mind, will, and emotions, and all of that kind of actually crosses with that health piece. So we got to get that in check. So awesome stuff. So let's talk about this. Mrs. Oprah. Anyway, I love it. You said some things when I was reading that interview, and I'm definitely going to bring that up because it was like really powerful. And I was actually tearing a little bit. My husband will tell you if he was here. I was tearing a little bit because I said, man, like she really pinpointed some things in this interview. But you mentioned that your biggest mistake was not losing the weight for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And can you explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, that's a great point. And so Oprah and I, part of what we talked about, her team summarized it about loving yourself at any size. So people often say, what's your number one tip, right? For soul, mind, body, whatever. It is let God love you, and then love yourself, and then love others out of that overflow. So that when I first went through my weight loss journey, and again, it's a journey, right? It's up and down. When you've had excess weight, you're gonna gain weight quicker. So this is a journey. But what I want to tell you is to learn to love your body, learn to love yourself. And because you cannot change under shame. You might change temporarily under shame. You might change temporarily for performance, but you're never going to be happy or satisfied. I mean, there's been radical studies. I've had the privilege of going through this course at Yale and about the science of well-being. And it talks about the fact that statistically, nobody's any happier when you get wealthy, when you get money, because we can't tie those things to our identity. And I originally jumped in to lose weight because I wanted the world to accept me. I wanted the guy to accept me. I wanted, the friends to accept me. It was, and we do that with performance. It may not be weight for you. It might be a job title or an amount of money you want, a bank account, or where you want to live, or whatever it is. But I always say we can't tie our identity. If you finish this sentence, I want so that I'll be. And if it's tied to identity, you're never going to be okay. You're never going to be satisfied, and you're never going to be all right. So we have to get to a place of I am loved because the great I am loves me, right? I am worthy of his love. He's the one worthy one, but I am worth his love, right? So when we get to that place, we can jump off in health, emotional, mental, spiritual, and relational health.
Wow, you better preach now. Don't
I will.
Don't do it. I will throw this book
in person. I will preach.
Wow, you dropping nuggets on here. Let me tell you. I don't know if y'all getting this, but y'all better get it. Y'all better catch it while it's hot. That is awesome, man. I'm gonna tell you, this is amazing. You said this other statement that hit me hard too. And we don't want to admit that we say this. You don't have to admit it. Everyone, well, some people have said this, not everyone. Only if I'm thin, I am okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That right there was like, because how many things have we put off? Like, when I reach this size, then I'll do this.
Yeah. So it's and I literally in our Ultimate Source course, I talk about the when I, then all statements, limitations in our life, right? When I, then all. And here's what crashed that in for me was I missed time on the beach with my friend Kelly before she died. Because I thought, when I lose the weight, when I will look good enough in a bathing suit, then I'll go to the beach. And I missed precious time with her of living life, of relational connection, because I was waiting for the when. And we can't wait for the WHEN. We can't wait for that when. We need to live now and enjoy our life right in the body we're in. And when you love your body, you can heal it. When you love your mind, you can heal it. When you love your enemy, you can heal that relationship, right? And I don't mean a restoration that you have to be in physical relationship, but you can heal that relationship to a point where it's not toxic to you anymore. So we want to be able to have that in all of our lives, because we're okay right now.
Wow. I hope that you guys caught that. You are okay right now. If that's you, if you have not started your health journey because you want to be at this financial state to start, that I think that's everyone, right? I can't start unless I have this much money. The correct phrase would be, how can I make this happen? Because I need to start now.
Yes. And I just had a talk with somebody this morning after I got off my knees, right? I'm 24 years old. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Something came into my life that was a health option for me when it came to getting my fruits and vegetables. And I was like, I can't afford it. And I love this. I don't know if you see my hat. It says hope dealer. Right. And so it was like, that's what it felt like. It felt like hope. And I was like, oh, but my first thought was, but I can't afford it. And I just had a conversation with somebody right before I got on the line with you. And we talked about those, I like to call them life limiting lies.
Okay.
Right? They're life limiting lies, because I told her I chose not to believe at that time. And I thought, exactly what you just said. Well, how can I? What will that look like? If I could, what would I do? And all of a sudden I went, wait a second, I'm investing in things that are tearing down my health, that are not getting me to the results I want.
Right.
So what if I redirected that spending? Because honestly, if you looked in black and white, I didn't have the money. I really didn't have the money. Right. I was poor when I was 24. Anybody feel me?
Right.
So I really didn't have the money. But when I really looked at my budget, I could redirect spending and take from what was taking from me and invest in something that would give me the results I wanted.
Yeah. Everyone does and doesn't have the money.
Right. Right. And we just have to look. And I'm not saying, trust me, I honor times are hard. I have been there in my life, but I believe with all my heart that there are ways that we can figure out, even if it's in interim steps, and even if it's asking for help and support, there are ways to be able to receive what we need. And you know what? Prayer, God is our provider, Jehovah Jireh. That is his name. And if you say, Lord, if this honors you, will you provide? Show me how I can find it myself, or show me how you can provide it for me. Right. Open my eyes to see, or bring it to me. And I believe there ways will open up for the things that will be for your good and his glory.
Yeah. And I'm a total believer, blessings don't fall out the sky. They're already in your hands. He gave you hands to do work. Those who don't have any hands, he gave you other parts that work to do work, whatever that he gave you. Yeah. You use it, because we get really creative when it's that outfit that we want. You know how we do. The hair we want.
Cell phone, the car, the shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. And what it speaks to is what do you value? I just want to encourage you, don't value things more than you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And those things aren't bad, by the way.
Yeah, no, they're
great. I love nice things. I love it to enjoy life. But repeat what you just said. I'm going to now say, did you guys catch that? Repeat what you just said. Don't love things
more than you.
More than you. Woo. That's good.
Let me tell you, my financial advisor, my dad actually, Apostle Richie Hausley, he gave me this revelation. He said, you pay God first.
Yes.
Pay yourself.
Put in some
pay
savings.
your bills.
Yeah.
Where we mess up, why we can't find those whatever we need is because we don't pay ourselves.
Yeah.
Some of us are good at paying God. Some of us aren't. We got to work on that. Y'all better get there. I don't mess around with that one.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm going to give him his bills.
Yeah. Thank God we trust. I ain't going to mess around with him. But some of you don't pay yourself. And because of that, we dip into other things. And it ends meeting short, you know?
Yeah.
Because we're put to be a steward over everything, our money, our body, all those types of things. So the thing is, don't feel ashamed if that's you. If you're in, some of us have been in that place before. I've been in that place before. I didn't know. I just really didn't know. You do, like she was saying, get with someone who does know. Ask someone for help. Don't be prideful, you know, and do that. Well, we're about to actually come to an end, but before we do, I want to just, you know, if you have anything that you could give families that maybe has worked for you in your health journey, because I know that's the biggest challenge, like transitioning your family into a healthy lifestyle. What tip could you give us?
Yeah, well, I think value. I think that word, because we can have, there's tangible things, but you've got all those for people. You're giving them to them, you're offering. But until we value ourselves, value and make it a value to create that, I think that that's the greatest key, because it does begin with mindset. What we think is then how we act. And so we really want to go, okay, how am I thinking?
Right.
And if I will put on new thinking, then I will act differently. And sometimes, you know, we can start acting as if, and so an example of this week, my husband and I, we put on marriage retreats and other things, and people will say I said, it's good stuff, isn't it? It's so good.
It is.
Here's the key. If you don't feel like holding hands, hold hands and you'll feel like it.
Right? Oh, right.
Like sometimes you've got to start the action without the feeling being there. So I'm not talking about feelings. I'm talking about values. And the first value is to value yourself, value others, value your family and their health. And you will be amazed at what will open up to you.
That was good. We're going to end on that note right there. Start the action without the feeling being there.
Yeah. Because sometimes we think, oh, I got to feel that way first. No, take action and the feeling will follow.
Yeah. And then maturity too.
Yes.
Way to mature in any walk, spiritual walk, health walk, family walk. You're not always feeling your kids, but you love them. You're going to take some actions. Sometimes this may be a harsh statement. You're not feeling God. You could be disappointed at God. You're like, why did this not happen? Whatever. Take the action. He wants you to come to him.
He can handle it.
He can totally handle it.
He handled it 25, 26 years ago now with me when I was authentic with him. Yeah. Be authentic with him and be open to adjusting whatever he does through you. Because it's through his power. We self-control is us being able to have a choice. And I'm not saying that there isn't a place for that, but first we give God control. If we give God control, he begins to bring us that self-control.
Yes. Or you could be a person who's saying, I want to work on my marriage. Hey, you just might not be feeling him right now. You
never happen.
Action. I'm going to leave that one alone because we can go deep into there. But you have to take action. Action precedes feelings.
Yeah.
Is what she and I are saying, both of us. Yeah. So that's enough for today. You guys have gotten so many nuggets, so many awesome things. I really appreciate you, Kathrine Lee, for taking the time out of your busy day. She's super busy. I've been around her during her day, and I'm telling you, I'm surprised the dog didn't run in there and the children and everybody else.
Me too. I didn't even put them up. So that was a miracle.
Well, check out KathrineLee.com. Also check out PureHopeFoundation.com. Get the book. Trust me on this. Look, you guys, I'm going to tell you something about me really quick. I'm not really that person that likes to read. That's me. But this book here, I couldn't put it down. I could not literally put it down. I was up, like how you binge watch shows. I was up reading this book, and get a box of tissues because it's going to release some things good for you. It's really a lot of healing in this book too.
Yeah, I tell them all the time, if you want the dirt on me, if you want to know the negative side, there's some dirt, there's some how did you get on Oprah? And the bottom line, my favorite thing is that people say, Kathrine, after reading your book, I've heard two things that make me the happiest. Number one is I believe in miracles again. And number two, people that say that their relationship with God, they want to take it to the next level. If they didn't believe, they're curious. If they do believe, they want to believe more. And that's the greatest. It's powerful, right? All of our stories are powerful. So I would read yours. I hope you read mine.
Yeah. Look, you guys read hers. I'm telling you. Look. No, I'm serious. You have to read hers. Like, if I'm not saying your life's jacked up, Kathrine, it's great now, but it was jacked up back then in this book.
It was.
You're jacked up. I'm telling you, read this book. There is hope.
Yes.
When I read this book, I was like, is this the same person? Wait a minute. And this is just shows you that God loves you where you are.
Yeah.
God loves you where you are.
And he loved us first, right?
Yeah.
We love because he first loved us.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining Health Talks.
My honor.
It's my honor. It really is. Because I'm actually a really big fan of yours. Isn't that funny? A friend who's a fan. But anyway, all right. Everybody else have an amazing afternoon. And I'll definitely see you on here for another time for Health Talks.
Thank you guys. Bye. Mwah.
Thank you, Kathrine.